Yo, what's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppin', what's good, what's good, what's good. Hope everybody's doing good out there in TV land, but you are now watching Juke Boy Sports Show. I am your host, Kyng Ralph. Ignore the cup, we're not sponsored. But hope everybody's doing good out there in TV land. We're gonna jump straight into it like we always do. If you're looking for a clean, no crash, jitterless energy drink, use promo code JUKE JUK for 20% off. We're gonna get you right. And wherever you're here from, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Wherever you're here from, whenever you pop into the chat, just say what up. Respond to things that I'm saying, man. I'll respond back to. I'll put you up on the screen, and let's jump straight into it, man. Dang, Ralph, we did not update the topics. Trying to do a lot within a little bit of time. But Super Bowl, whatever number that is upon us on Sunday. Not sure what L and X on the Roman numeral scale is, but Patriots versus Seahawks, gonna be a good one. I look forward to this one. Probably gonna have to end up not gonna be able to bet on the app, but I should be able to pop in and be able to get a couple physical bets in. So I'll probably end up doing some content later in the week as far as what I'm betting, but just gonna go over some breakdowns, what I think could work, what won't work. Off rip, Drake May got to play better. Over the last couple games, and I went over it last week, just not wasn't lighting up the field. And I think that when you have a defense that's good, you have to be able to take advantage of things. And sometimes you just can't keep counting on your defense to be able to stop teams from getting those big chunk plays. And that's something that the Seahawks thrive on, honestly. JSN, Cooper Kupp being able to catch passes 20, 30 yards down the field. Sam Darnold being able to push the ball down the field. Kenneth Walker III being able to gash defenses. And there were opportunities for the Broncos, Chargers, and the Texans to be able to push the ball down the field versus the Patriots, and they just weren't able to capitalize. So given the talent and the offense that the Seahawks have had all year, I don't know if you can count on that and just keep expecting that to be the end-all, be-all for you. At the end of the day, I do think that when we start to have those conversations about the game, Drake May is going to have to outplay Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold been balling. Drake May, on the other hand, has got away with a lot of mediocre football, to say the least. And this is the game where legends are made in the Super Bowl. What are you going to be able to do when it matters the most? He has plenty of weapons. I don't want to hear any kind of, his weapons weren't sufficient and the Seahawks have a better team going into this. It's all it takes is one big game and you put your stamp in history. So ultimately, can Drake May outplay Sam Darnold? And can the Seahawks be able to make and capitalize on those opportunities like the previous teams against the Patriots have not been able to? And that's ultimately where it is with it. I just don't think that given this defense, you're was good. I appreciate you for popping in, family. I think that the Seahawks defense, given the way that they've played, I believe that they'll be able to impose their will on Drake May. And that's why I think that in the end, the Patriots are going to fall. Now, I could be biased. I'm a Raider fan at the end of the day. You see the picture in the back. But I think taking my bias out of it, how much I dislike the Patriots, Drake May has played mediocre, and this is going to be the best defense that he has played throughout this playoff run. And I just don't see him being able to overcome that. I could very well be wrong. And at the end of the day, I guess you could say I'm a man of morals and high integrity. I will come on here and say that I made a mistake. Just like I said last week, we owe Sam Darnold an apology. So shout out to both of them for getting here, but I think ultimately Sam Darnold is going to end up getting that Super Bowl um, title, and I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't know if he goes and gets the MVP. Now, this is an opportunity um, for a Cooper Cup to get his second Super Bowl MVP. JSN, if he has a big game, he'll be able to put himself in there. Kenneth Walker, because I think they're going to have to lean on him, given that Charbonnet is going to be out with injury. So what happens here? Who ends up getting it? Not 100% sure. I would love to see with the redemption arc that Sam Darnold is on for him to be able to get it, put a stamp, and let the likes of the Shady McCoys of the world a big FU to them. Give me my ring, and give me my Super Bowl MVP, and put some respect on my name. And that's the part where I didn't necessarily update things, so y'all got to work with me throughout the episode. Hope everybody's doing good out there. But NBA All-Star teams have been announced. So the way that they did it this year, it was like I talked about last week. NBA versus the world. They put 3 different teams. Up for the weekend, and this will follow. This will be Valentine's Day weekend. With not that this one. All right, NBA teams. NBA All-Star Weekend is following Super Bowl weekend, so this will not be this weekend, but the following one, Valentine's Day weekend. Shout out to all the lovers out there. But Friday night we got the Rising Stars Challenge, and I went over that last week. This week, and then on Saturday, 3-point dunk contest, skills challenge, and then on Sunday will be the big game. So going into it, NBA All-Star teams. So the NBA versus the world, the way that they're going to do it is game 1. We got, where's that at? Dang, I took it off of there. So I'm going to go off the top of my head. I believe it is, so they have the NBA Stars, NBA Stripes, and then World Team. So the Stars are the younger core of the All-Star team. So we got the likes of like a Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey. On the NBA Stripes, that will be the older core. So you got Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Stephen Curry, KD, LeBron, Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell, and Norman Powell. And then for the world team, Giannis made it, but will not play because of injury. Denny, I do not want to even destroy your last name out of respect for you having a hell of a year. Luka, Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, Jokic, Jamal Murray, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, who was born in Jersey, but his mother, who passed away during the pandemic from COVID, was Dominican, and he has been playing for the Dominican national team or has played in the past, so he will be representing his Dominican side. And Victor Wembanyama, or Wemby, like they call him. So the first game, I believe, will be the Stars versus the World Team. The Stripes will play the winner of that game, and then the Stripes will play the loser of the first game. And whoever has the best record between the 3 teams, the 2 best records, will play in the final game. If all 3 teams end up with a one win and 1 loss, then the point differential in those 3 games will matter the most, and then that will be who will play in the official championship of the All-Star game. Now, we'll see what ends up with this. I think that players like LeBron, the KDs, the Stephs, the Kawhis, as they continue to get older, we got to cherish these moments and figure out ways to keep this going, because the Pro Bowl just happened today. I didn't even realize it got moved to Tuesday. Shit was trash. I tried to watch it. It's just although they seem to be smiling, cracking jokes, and laughing, as a person that's watching it from what it used to be, it's just not the same. So hopefully they can. This is a way to muster up some pride for your home country or what you're representing and what you're bringing into it. But it just looks weird. There's certain people of like, I know the Pistons are playing well, but why is Jalen Duren in an All Star game? Um, Norman Powell, like, why are you in this All Star game? I just think at a certain point we're kind of reaching, we're pulling people and giving them an opportunity where they might not have had this opportunity given where where they were. So like, if I go and I look at the world team, honestly, this is where I probably would have thought this would have been a stretch. But now I think trying to fill out an NBA roster or NBA All Star roster with NBA players that are American born, that's where it's like the Norman Powells, the Jalen Durans. I just can't sit here and be like, oh, they're playing such lights out. Because when you go and you look at, we can't say that wins and losses matter and then put players from 13 win teams in these NBA All Star games. That's the thing for me when it comes down to it. But I do like a young core versus an older core. I think at the end of the day, LeBron, KD, and Steph and Kawhi are still playing great basketball, given that they are close to my age, which I am 36, or much older than me. And so I think it will be cool to see, but it just depends on how hard people are playing. I think when you got a Devin Booker, when you got a Anthony Edwards and a Tyrese Maxey, I think they're gonna play hard, and I would assume so, given the way that they play, just on a game-to-game basis. Where the KDs, Kawhis, and LeBrons, they don't play as hard from a game-to-game basis. So will we get their best effort on this night? I don't know. We'll see. And so next one, Raiders get their coach. Like I said, I put the topics on here and then I forgot to update it. But we get our coach. And I had a lot to say earlier in the week when it happened. Now, this would be a cold game of just playing around if it comes down that this doesn't happen. But Clint Kubiak reportedly will be signing with the Raiders after the Super Bowl is over with and concluded. So we got our guy. I think this is the person I've been thinking about or wanting the Raiders to get, regardless of who, if we end up taking Mendoza or not going in another direction. I think that we should have went with a good, young, offensive-minded guy. And so coming from that Shanahan tree, father was also a great offensive mind as well, Gary Kubiak. Getting someone who you see what that Seattle offense looks like since he's been there. Sam Darnold looks good. The offense is clicking, a good balance of run, pass, still runs the ball a good amount. Kenneth Walker was able to flourish. Now, can we go and can we build on that? Obviously, the offensive line was atrocious this year. So being able to take that and build upon that and move forward, it's like, where do we go from here? And so, all right. So we got to decide and figure out what we're gonna do. Now, this is the part for me where I might have said before in the past that, hey, as a Raider fan, we might need to realize that we might need to trade Max, but I just don't know. I think that you got to keep someone who gives that culture of a Raider, gives the fans some kind of like sense of belonging. I think hiring him, getting the number one pick, how good Mendoza looked in the national championship game, to then trade Max and think that, oh, I'm supposed to trust that you're going to do what you need to do with these draft picks is the thing for me where I'm not 100% sure. And as a Raider fan, I wouldn't blame people for turning their backs on him if we trade Max. So I think keeping Max, figure out what you're going to do from a defensive coordinator standpoint. You got your offensive guy. Can he develop a quarterback? Can we get um, some offensive line help? We have a lot of money in cap space. So can we bring in free agents? Offensive line, you got Brock Bowers, you got Ashton Jeanty. Michael Mayer is another good second tight end, but then when it comes to the wide receiver position, might be one of the weakest in weakest positions of anybody in the league. Definitely the weakest wide receiver room that you have in the league, and so I think that seeing what you can get out of Jack Beck or Beck or Bot, I think it's Beck, to go alongside and build from there. There are pieces and wide receiver weapons in this draft. There are going to be people that maybe you can trade for. Maybe you can give up a third or a fourth and throw some money or buy low. And so I'm curious to see where we go from here, but I think that it starts at the top, and at the top, we got our guy. And so what we had next, NBA trades. What I do. Where's it at? There it is. Bow. So NBA trades. Let's just shoot them off. So my Bulls were making some moves today. They are giving up Vooch to the Celtics for Anthony Simons. Herder went to the Pistons for Jaden Ivey in a 3-team deal that also landed us Mike Conley. The thing about this one here for me, and I feel bad, and my brother made me feel bad because my pessimistic sports views and my teams, they just haven't always made the best moves or got players that I think we should get or could have got. And so Giannis is on the move, a smaller lineup for the rest of the year. It just doesn't really truly make sense. So I believe either we're going for Giannis or I think we're either going to go for Giannis or we're just going to blow it up at the end of the day and go for a rebuild. I think Jaden Ivey gives us good young talent. Anthony Simons, good young talent. Kobe White. What do you do? Oh, and I didn't even mention Josh Giddey. So that's 8. So it's like Josh Giddey, Jaden Ivey, Anthony Simons, Kobe White. All 4 of them are starters at the 1 and 2 position. So where do you go from here? Where do you move things along? And that's the thing for me where I'm just like a little nervous. But there's a couple days left in the trade deadline, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can make another big move and get a Giannis. That would be great. I've heard Giannis does have a condo in downtown Chicago. Chicago does have a good Greek community. I know people want him to go to New York, but Chicago is a great city. I'm a little biased. I got all the stuff behind me now. James Harden, Darius Garland, swap teams. I think Cleveland. This is the first time I think in history that anybody's ever said, "Get me to Cleveland." James Harden said, "Trade me to Cleveland." You put him alongside an Evan Mobley, alongside a Donovan Mitchell who was in the All-Star game. Jared Allen is coming off of a 40 piece that he just dropped not too long ago. And you give James Harden the ability to score, but he has as of lately been a really good point guard as far as getting players involved, moving the ball around, not being where the ball gets stuck when it comes to him. So I do think he kind of fits better than Darius Garland with the with Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll see what happens as far as like the Clippers. It's just gonna look different. I think Darius Garland is a good piece. He's a bucket getter. Now, what does it look like playing under a Ty Lue, moving the ball around in that team that they have? I think ultimately, if I had to pick a winner in this situation, I would definitely go with Cleveland because James Harden is just a better facilitator currently than Darius Garland, given what they have on that team. Uh, and so the Grizzlies officially start their rebuild. Jaren Jackson Jr. traded for 3 first picks, Walter Clayton, and 3 veterans, Kyle Anderson, Gorgie Jang or Nyang. I forget the third person. And then the Jazz get JJJ as well as Vince Williams Jr. officially starting that rebuild. But if you look at the Jazz, this was a great pickup because you have a Kessler Walker, you have Jaren Jackson, you have Lauri Markkanen, who could be a tall 3. So between the 3 of them, you got a big 5, a big 4, and a big 3. A Keontae George as well as an Ace Bailey, who is still in development process, but he is doing great and playing great. Or playing pretty good. He's looking good. He looks promising at the end of the day. And so I do think that this officially starts the rebuild for the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, what do they do with Ja? Ja's still young, still he's hurt right now, but if he plays, he's putting butts in seats at the end of the day. And so it officially starts their rebuild. They get 3 first picks. Not sure what year those picks are in. If any one of them are in this year's pick, the Grizzlies are going to be bad. We'll see what happens with the Utah Jazz as far as what their record looks like at the end of the year and how good these picks end up being given who they're from. But I think it's a great start, a great rebuild. There's a lot of talent in this draft alone. I think in this year, you can get, there's anywhere from 15 to 20, if not stars at the top. I think that on an average, if you take the top 20 players, you can get someone who can be a key contributor going forward in the future in this draft. And so getting as stockpiling as many pieces as possible. We saw what happened with the Thunder. I think you should do something similar when it comes to the Grizzlies. I think Ja should be moved, and I would try to move him as long as you can get something of value for him. But, yeah, this officially starts the clock on that rebuild. And so, fast break, Bryce, I was going to say Bronny, but Bryce has redshirted, decided to redshirt at Arizona, wasn't getting a lot of playing time. I think it's a smart move. You keep years of eligibility, no rush to hurry up and get to the league. You were not getting an opportunity. So instead of rushing and getting to the league, develop a little bit more, take that year and come back strong next year. We'll see if he gets an opportunity to get minutes with Arizona or if this ends up being a thing where he ends up hitting that transfer portal, which I think it's good to sit and wait. I think that with certain players, you got to be able to get minutes, shots, reps, and opportunities. If you're not getting them, go somewhere where you might not be, it might not be or be put you in a position to be able to get like a national championship or any kind of super accolades from a team aspect, but at least you're getting your shots up. You can work on your game and develop you as an individual player. Because at the end of the day, Bryce James, his name stands for itself. He got to get to the league and do it the best way he can. And not getting opportunities, you can't just keep hoping that LeBron is going to be able to get you in the league. Next one, Shakur Stevenson. Boy, he put the beats on Teofimo Lopez and not really realizing this was a New York Jersey fight. Jersey, Newark put the beats on Brooklyn, and Shakur looked good. Pause. Dominant, strong, much stronger, and he was a bigger fighter than I thought. Going into this, I thought Lopez would have been a stronger fighter, but watching them when that jab was coming, it was definitely putting a stagger on Lopez and Teofimo more than Shakur would take when he would get hit if he did get hit. And he just was a dominant performance. I think how this fight went is why a lot of fighters like Tank, Haney, Garcia are avoiding him at the end of the day. And he showed every bit of why he is um, who we think he is. And he did not let them off the hook. Next up, NFL thinking about moving to 18 games. So far, NFL players, nah, not in their appetite, not feeling it, was the quotes as being reported. I think the league is getting a little greedy when it comes to this. We're at 18 weeks of football, but it's only 17 games. I think if they go to 18 games, they would end up doing a longer season with 2 bye weeks from what I've heard. At the end of the day, I'm never going to argue more football, but you can't say that you want player safety, but also keep adding games to the season when they're damn near getting to a car crash every single play. And it's what the effects on the body end up looking like. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then last but not least, what was my last one? Todd Monken is hired by the Cleveland Browns. Jim Schwartz had a top 3 defense and was the DC for the Cleveland Browns last year. But there are no indications right now that he will be bringing Schwartz back, which I think is not a good decision in the end. I think it would be a smart move to bring him back. He had that defense humming. Build on that. Todd Monken, you worry about the offense. I got the defense, and let's see what we can build. Now, can you bring in players through the draft, free agency, or whatnot to be able to put around Shador, give Shador an opportunity? Todd Monken had a good offense, albeit with the Baltimore Ravens. And you got a Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, likely Derrick Henry. Now, you don't have that in Cleveland, but you give Shador with a full offseason to go ahead and be the guy. You have 2 good tight ends, a good young one, Fanning. Njoku, if you bring him back. Now, Jared Jeudy, what do you do with that? Isaiah Bond, ironically, pun intended, created a bond with Shador where he was counted on and was able to pull through for Shador. And so now you take that and you build on it. Schwartz, you worry about the defense. Maybe I'll get you a few more pieces, someone to put on the other side of Myles Garrett. Mason Graham looked good in the middle. Myles Garrett being Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward being Denzel Ward. Some of the best at their positions from individual standpoint, and they had a really good defense. So I think it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense to not bring them back, but it's the Cleveland Browns. The Browns going brown, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But thank you all for watching. I do got to get out of here. Hope y'all like my new background. That's why I didn't really have a whole lot of time today. Ran the Hobby Lobby, went to lunch. Taking care of my daughter, had to put her to sleep, forgot to put the topics on here, but thanks for watching. Got up to like 3 to 4 viewers at one point. I appreciate you all. Keep subscribing on YouTube. Keep following us on Juke Network. Follow me at KYNGRALPH. We'll be dropping an audio only episode in the morning on anywhere where you get your podcasts. And then make sure you lock in with us at Juke Sports Show on Instagram. 2 Goobs just dropped a new episode on that one. You'll be seeing clips on the @2_Goobs page on Instagram. And I got to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for watching. Love, peace, and it's Black History Month, y'all. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black.